On Avenue of Americas, you have a very large group headed southbound. They look like they're going to link up with the group inside of Union Square, and that's approximately 5,000 to 6,000 people.
All right, 10-4. So this is the group that was coming down from 6th Avenue. They're now going to group up with Union Square. You said about 5,000 to 6,000?
Oh, then they are headed down.
No peace! No peace! Black lives matter! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! We don't care if we don't get that shot! What do we want? What do we want?
Первого дня моего такого многодневного, необычного, почти сериального репортажа в сторис Инстаграма я получаю от читателей, слушателей, зрителей много вопросов. Причем как в России, так и в Нью-Йорке. Люди не понимают, что здесь на самом деле происходит, как реально оценивают эти события. Я решил во всем разобраться и рассказать вам, но не от собственного лица, а от лица протестующих. Я адресовал все эти ваши провокационные вопросы им. Давайте их послушаем и во всем разберемся. Many people believe that when white people take a knee, especially in front of black people, it's an act of humiliation. That is, they look at that pictures and it's like disgusting. Why they're wrong and what that means?
It's a symbol of protest. So a black football athlete, Colin Kaepernick, did it first as a sign of defiance in the NFL during the national anthem. He took a knee, and so a lot of people do it in solidarity with him and with everyone else who this movement stands for.
Yes, it's solidarity, not us kneeling to them, it's us kneeling with them, showing that we're with you together, fighting.
It's not humiliation, it's humility. It's standing in solidarity with these people who have died, who have fallen, and now we're standing here in unity with everyone. We take a knee, so we're humbled, you know? Like, it's for love, it's for unity with everyone. You know what I mean? It's not humiliation. We're not like bowing to anyone. We're taking a knee for our people that have fallen.
Taking a knee means that you're not going to stand for injustice. You're not going to stand for an unfair system, especially when it's against you. And definitely taking a knee shows that you're in support for us and for all things equal and fair. You know, it doesn't matter what race you are, what color you are, what you believe in, who you love, who you care for, as long as you're with us and not against us. If you take a knee, you're showing that you're with us and not against us, which is why it's important.
In America, and I don't know about what it's like in Russia, but in America, there's a system that keeps black people subjugated. And it's built up around a number of different things, but one of the things that is most prevalent across that system is that there's no right way for black people to protest. Now, black people have been protesting for 100 years, trying to get equal rights and trying to get equal treatment under the law. There was a famous football player who took a knee as a way to just say, things are wrong. This act was met with some pretty strong resistance by the employee or the employer. So the NFL ended up firing him, he ended up losing sponsorships, he ended up losing a lot of money, and he ended up losing a lot of status just because he chose to protest in a very, very peaceful way. And this act of taking a knee is in solidarity with him. He took a knee because it was the only way to protest that wasn't violent and was objectively really innocuous.
Colin Kaepernick is he's taking a knee by standing up against racism and against the country that allows racism. We're supposed to stand up for the national anthem, but he doesn't feel that he can respect a country that doesn't respect black people and other minorities. That's why he takes a knee, and that's why we take a knee. And also, we saw that George Floyd was killed when an officer stood on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and killed him. So we take a knee not only to honor that, to honor his memory, but to honor the fight against racism.
It's everyone standing together in peace and solidarity to stick together from one, because at the end of the day we're all one. Skin complexions and such like that has no value whatsoever. We're all souls at the end of the day, and we all believe in the same thing at the end of the day.
Same cause.
Yes.
We're fighting for the same
justice
cause.
For all. We're all fighting for the same thing. So I don't think it's a humiliation at all.
It's a symbol that we're in solidarity with black people. It's not at all about humiliation. It's that we're all we're part of the team that believes in equal justice.
And we respect all people, and black people are people just like white people, and we think they should be treated the same.
Have you taken a knee with all the people?
Yes, just now.
So many people believe that people that protest in the daytime and were protesting before and looting the stores a few days ago in Soho, in Midtown, are same people. Why it's not?
They're not, because if you're here protesting for justice, fairness, for fair rights, for a positive, not a negative police system, then you're showing that you're with us. If you're looting in stores, if you're vandalizing, if you're saying NYPD, SMD, you're not with us, you're against us. And I feel like that, for you to vandalize and for you to break into someone else's store, that could be your house, that could be your friend's store, but I feel like that is unacceptable and that needs to stop.
Who was those people?
Those are people that are coming from different states. Those are people that are maybe New Yorkers that are vandalizing and taking opportunity to see that we are weak and we're not at our best and we're not at our strongest. So they feel like we should vandalize and take over.
We're not the people who loot. There are people who are anarchists, and there's also people in the government who pay them to loot. So Black Lives Matter, NAACP, all that, they're not looters. We believe in peaceful protests, and that's what this protest is for, a peaceful protest. There has not been a single altercation yet.
We are peaceful protesters. We say it as we march. The people who loot are the people who loot. I don't want to call them any names.
And the people who loot are the people that have their own agenda. They're not protesters. They came out here with their own agenda. And let me make it straight too. It's not only black folks that's looting. We see a whole lot of white folks that's looting. It's a whole lot. If you look at CNN, you'll see a whole lot of them up there destroying people's property. There's many protests I went in, and anytime you see somebody get out of line, they pull them right back in. Exactly. Peaceful protests, that's all we want.
These people are protesting inequality and the difference in the justice system in this country. They are not looters. They are exercising their constitutional right. These are not people who believe that they should be destroying buildings or looting. They are people who believe in equal justice.
There could be a couple of the people who are rioting and looting, but rioting and looting is not an ineffective form of protest. If you are only innocuous in your protest, if you're only peaceful in your protest, you don't get heard. And that's what we're seeing across all of the country and all of the protests. The reason that these are different and the reason that people are paying more attention right now is because people chose to buck the system in a way that was different than just saying, I'm going to march for a couple of days.
They are the same people. They're all fighting for the same thing. You can also protest by looting. Because in the United States, we're constantly being told things that you buy are more important than the workers that make them, than the people who buy them, the workers that work at the stores. So looting is a form of protest, saying lives are more important. Forget Target, forget capitalism stuff right now.
Well, there are people that loot. That's wrong, right? People shouldn't be looting because they're taking advantage of this peaceful cause, right? We're representing something out here. Anyone that's looting
George Floyd, right?
Yeah, anyone that's looting, it's obviously wrong, right? But I condemn those wrong people, but it's not everyone that's doing it. It's not all these peaceful protesters.
I mean, I can't speak for anybody that has been looting because I haven't personally seen any looting. My position on looting is it's not something that I'm participating in. I think that the focus on looting is really wrong-headed because what we should be focusing on is the fact that black people are being killed by our state.
Yeah, I think the thing to take away about the looting stories is that it's a way that the media, it's a way that politicians are trying to distract from what those people are saying right now. And they're what matters.
Also, it's worth noting that a lot of the looters, and you can see this on videos online that people have taken at the protests, a lot of those looters are white, so.
Many people who live here are curious why mostly white people protesting. It's really like majority of it.
I don't feel like it's majority white people. I feel like it's different people. It doesn't matter what color you are at the end of the day. As long as you are saying Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, no justice, no peace, you're with us, and it doesn't matter what color you are. As long as you support us, we support you.
It's not a black issue. This affects everybody. It affects blacks, Asians, white. It affects everybody. It's just it feels that black people are subject to this the most, but it affects everybody. It's not just a black issue.
Because white people, like black people, are disgusted at police brutality.
A lot of these people are marching in solidarity because they believe in the cause that everyone should be equal. It's one of the main tenets of our country. So we are choosing to speak out against the system of racial privilege that keeps black people subjugated at the cost of their lives.
That's not true. Look at their crowd. There's black people, there's white people, there's all kinds of people.
I mean, white people need to show solidarity. It can't just be people of color protesting, because white people need to show that not only black people think that this is a problem. We all think it's a problem. We're all here.
If you look at these protests, they're attacking everyone. There's white people in the crowd, there's black people in the crowd. The police don't care at this point.
It's still very common that people say they don't like the slogan Black Lives Matter. They are trying to say all lives matter. Why they're wrong?
They're not wrong and they're not right. Yes, all lives matter, but Black Lives Matter because we are the ones that are facing the injustice in the system. We are the ones that are being videotaped and put on the ground. For you, a white officer, to put your knee on someone's neck is not right at all. For a white officer to put a black man in a chokehold is not right at all. I feel like it shouldn't be just black people against cops. It should be all people against cops that are racist, that are unfair, that want to show their power in ways that they shouldn't, in a negative way, and that is very unfair, and that should stop immediately.
Because Black Lives Matter was founded in reaction to black men and women being killed with unnecessary force, and that was a reaction as like serving as a reminder that Black Lives Matter just like all other lives matter. So saying all lives matter is negating the cause.
All lives do matter, but at this current state and current time where we are right now, Black Lives Matter. You hear that? And until Black Lives matter, all lives will not matter.
Exactly.
At all. We're not saying, oh, white lives don't matter, Hispanic lives. No. Black lives matter right now
because we're the one that's being the injustice. We're the one that's getting killed.
They're not getting pulled over for being Russian or white. We're getting pulled over for being black. So at this current point, black lives matter.
No, we're getting killed for being black.
Exactly.
We're getting shoot down in the streets for being black.
How much did that happen to Russian people? How many Russian people died just for being Russian?
In the hands of a cop.
From the hands of a cop. How many? None.
Right.
How many died from the hands of the cop and black? The list goes on and on and on and on. And it just happened
Young
last
children
week.
In your house. Come on now. What about Breonna Taylor? She was in her house sleeping. She got shot 8 times.
Imagine being
They kicked in her door and killed her. Shot her 8 times, and the cop's still not in jail.
What if that was your daughter?
How just is that?
What if that was your daughter?
That's the point. That's the whole point of Black Lives Matter. Everybody, there's no problem with white lives. The problem is that black lives are not respected and are not treated the same. So in saying Black Lives Matter, it isn't to say that white lives don't matter. It's to say that black lives should matter just the same as white lives.
Yeah, all lives matter. But if one house was on fire in your neighborhood and somebody went around spraying down all of the other houses instead of the house that's on fire, why are you not paying attention to the big problem? Why aren't you paying attention to the one that needs attention now? We need attention now. That's why Black Lives Matter. Of course all lives matter. Black lives are the ones that people don't seem to be paying attention to, and that's why we say Black Lives Matter.
Black people are dying. The police don't kill innocent white people, they kill innocent black people.
It's a slogan, but it's true, but all lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter, and that's why we say that.
All lives do matter because at the end of the day, we're one human race, right? So every single life that exists matters. But all lives cannot matter if black lives are not being considered. You know what I mean? If people can sit here and murder us and that's okay, people are not even being charged for it, then that's wrong. Then that means that our lives are not being considered, our lives are not mattering. So we're out here screaming, hey, listen to us. Like, our lives matter, you know? Like, if all lives matter, then it should be no problem for saying Black Lives Matter. If I'm out here protesting,
it's been killed. You're being killed because of your blackness, and you're killed because of your ethnicity. Simple as that. All human beings are equal, but for a particular group to kill because they feel it's okay to kneel 8 minutes and 46 seconds as a human culture, feel that you have that privilege to get away with that.
They're not wrong. All lives do matter, but some lives, white lives, are not in danger right now. So let's focus on the fact that black lives are in danger. When a building is on fire or something, we don't say, oh my God, all the buildings matter. We go and put out the building that is on fire. So black lives matter.
Since it's a peaceful protest, why so many people were breaking a curfew law past days?
Because why should we have a curfew law if we're peacefully protesting? If people are peacefully protesting and people are not breaking down the place and they're just protesting for a cause, why should we have a curfew?
It's our First Amendment. We're allowed to peacefully protest.
This is our First Amendment to protest. This is our First Amendment. We're peacefully protesting.
How can you say we have the right to do something and then give us a curfew? That says we can't do it. That doesn't make any sense at all. That's why some people still did it.
There's millions and millions of people out here protesting and they're not breaking the law. Look at those people. Don't look at the people that's looting. There's always good and bad in every race.
Yes.
Every race is good and bad. But they're looking at the black race. It's every race.
Because there shouldn't be a curfew against people protesting their right. There shouldn't be a curfew against people standing for what is right, and there shouldn't be a curfew at all. I feel like if you want to protest that there is an unjust system, an unfair system, you should have the right to do that without a curfew, without someone trying to arrest you, without someone trying to put you in handcuffs and put you in a car and have you held overnight. That's so unfair.
Because protesting is more important than the curfew law.
And breaking the curfew isn't a violent activity. You know, if you're out past 8 p.m., that isn't a violent act.
Because the curfew started at 8 p.m. Are you kidding? Also, that's like a non-law to break. Like, you put on the curfew, okay, sure, but it's like, all right, so I can't stay out past 8 p.m. I'm not hurting anybody by staying out. We're just out here exercising our right to protest. If they put down a law that we can't come out and protest and peaceably assemble, that goes against our constitutional right.
The curfew law is designed to keep people from protesting and designed to keep people scared. So that people who do go out there, they can say that they're breaking a law and they now have some justification for beating them, even though there should be no justification for using tear gas and violence against your own citizens.
These protests are peaceful. No one here has started anything. If you look at a lot of the protests, the police have started the violence almost every time.
I mean, take your camera, it's peaceful here, and then point it behind us with police intimidating us behind us right now. What is that? We could be here marching with no police to make us feel scared, but they're there.
Breaking a curfew law, it's not something that I have personally done, but I think that that is a form of peaceful resistance. It's an unjust law. We haven't had a curfew in New York City for, I don't know when the last time was. I think it was sometime in the 40s, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that that is not an inherently violent thing to do, and I think that that is a form of civil disobedience, and it's outrageous that the cops wait until 8:01 p.m. and then just start laying into people with their batons. So I support people who do that. Yeah, where was the curfew when people wanted to just be outside drinking or hanging out with other people and spreading coronavirus everywhere? We didn't have a curfew to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Why do we have a curfew to prevent people talking about violence against black people?
Where was the curfew in Charlottesville when a bunch of white supremacists converged on the town and marched with torches? Where was the curfew in Minnesota when people marched towards the Capitol building with guns? Like, it's not a fair or reasonable law.
Many people are saying that calling old city cops names is not okay. Like NYPD, suck my dick, and all this stuff, defund police. Like, who is going to protect you if you defund police?
Suck my dick! NYPD, suck my dick! No peace, fuck these racist ass police!
So we're saying that because once there's action, then people will understand that we have the power. We do have the power to change stuff. As you can see, these protests have not been just one day, have not been 2 days, but has been a whole week. We have been continuing to protest for more than 10 days straight, and we need to continue to protest. For a black man to say on camera, I can't breathe more than 5 times is unfair. It's unfair. And that's why we need to keep protesting and make sure that these police know that we have the power and we can take their power away.
I personally don't say those words. That's just me. Not because I'm disagreeing, just I don't say those words. But I can see where they're coming from in that people are fed up.
Yeah, suck your mother. Right, it means it's nothing nice. I'm from the West Indian culture, and this is a huge insult. NYPD, suck your mother, period.
Why it is okay, because guess what? Our family are being killed by those same racist NYPD cops. When we say these things like, this is my ancestors built this country. A lot of things out here, my ancestors built this country. So why are we still going through this in 2020? Now when we're talking to the cops and we're being rude to the cops, we're being rude to the ones that's doing the violence to our people. We're not talking about the innocent cops, but they're all in blue, and they're not speaking up when their colleagues are killing our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our family. So it's not that we're being disrespectful to the good cops. We're speaking of the bad cops. And when you see white folks racing with us, is in this march with us, because they understand what we've been going through for over 400 years. They understand that we've been going through this for too long. We bleed the same blood. We're just different skin tones. God created all of us. We're all from the same God. We're all the same people, just He made us all in different tones.
You know, there are people that chant certain things that you might not agree with, but we agree with the purpose of the demonstration, and we agree with 90% of what everyone is chanting. And if there are a few things we don't agree with, we just don't join in that chant.
I've never thought that the police were ever going to protect me. The police never make anything better. Yes, when you're driving in a car and you get pulled over by the police, do you think, I'm being protected right now? Or is it they're coming after me right now?
I do find that to be wrong. I don't think that we should sit here and defund police. I think that we shouldn't be giving so much money to the military.
Listen to this.
Right? But I feel like there should be a lot more training when it comes to the police. Obviously, we need them here to exist.
I think that the people who are saying those things often have a very real life reason to be saying them. Maybe they've been abused by police, maybe their friends or their brothers have. It's not a physical threat. It's feelings. That's what a protest is for.
Yeah, it's really not the same thing when people who are in a position where they lack power within society are standing up and speaking out against people who have all of the power in society. And if that's the way that they want to express themselves, then that is their First Amendment right, and they have the right to do that.
Defund the police doesn't mean get rid of the police. I think a lot, if they're uncomfortable with the idea of defunding the police, maybe they need to ask more questions about what we're saying to defund. All these cops right here that are wearing helmets, they don't need those helmets. All of these police vans, they don't need those police vans right now. All of the guns that they have, why are they carrying guns? They don't need those things, and that's what the money that they get goes to. It doesn't go to pay these people. I want police to be paid. I want police to be paid better because maybe that would motivate them to do their job instead of just arrest people. Because arresting people doesn't help. Arresting people costs money because it sends them to jail.
One of my friends, a very educated man, grown up, believes that you are all puppets, that some politicians, some unknown powers are standing behind you, especially in this cycle before election. Is it true?
I've never heard of that. It's not true at all. Some politicians are against the protest. They feel like what you said before, that some of them are the ones vandalizing, the ones looting, going into stores, and I feel like that's not true at all. No politicians, they're not against this, but they're not with us at the same time. And they need to stop being scared of the man, they need to stop being scared of Trump and start taking action.
I'm here on my own free will. I was not told by a politician to join. I am a black woman, and I just cannot stand idly by and not stand up against this. So no politician influenced me. I use my own free will and my own common sense to stand up against this.
No, because you know why they're gonna believe that? Because their father, their mother, their sisters are not getting killed by the cops. That's why they believe that. Put the shoes on the other foot and let that happen to their family, they'll feel differently.
They don't understand. They
will never understand it when my son has to go out there and he gets pulled over because he drives a fancy car. They will never understand, because he's black, driving a fancy car, when he worked hard for that car. I work for the city. I get pulled over because I drive a fancy car. It's just because I work for the city is why I don't get in trouble. Double standard.
We are not. We are not puppets, and no one is paying us to be here. No, we are here on our own, like in these people, that we believe in what the Constitution says, and we believe it's time for a change, and it obviously is. There's been too much killing, too much brutality. It's time for a change.
Like we're getting paid? If people are getting paid, I want to get paid. I'm not getting paid. I think this really is. This is a callback to what one of the founding tenets of America, or at least one of the ideas of America, is that we should be equal, and that everyone should be able to get a good life.
Right. So I would say in that case, follow the money. I mean, look at the organizations that organize these things. They're grassroots, they're community funded. And then look at the organizations donating to the politicians. If an event is funded by that organization, then yeah, maybe look into why that's being funded by an organization that donates money to politicians.
A lot of the politicians are funded by the police. So we are grassroots, we are not the police, we are funded by our own beliefs.
We're definitely not getting paid. I'm not getting paid at all. I'm out here because I'm black and I'm here standing with everybody else that has been harmed. That could have been me, you know what I mean? Like Breonna Taylor, she died at 26 years old. I'm 26, so literally that could have been me. So I'm standing out here, not getting paid at all. because I believe in this cause. Like, people need to hear our voice. People need to care about us. It's been 400 years of slavery, of oppression. Like, we're tired of it. It's enough. Enough is enough. That's it.
Worry about your own country.
Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I appreciate the concern, but like, I wish that I didn't have to be out here. I really delayed coming out here because I'm very concerned about spreading coronavirus, because coronavirus is deeply affecting everybody, and particularly in New York City right now, and particularly communities of color. But honestly, if they're out here ready to fight for their lives right now because they're being murdered by the police, then this is the time to stand up with them. So I can't really think of who it would be that would be controlling us and telling us to be out here.
I've been here at the protest in 2013 when Michael Brown and Eric Garner were killed by police. It looked way different. Why these days it's so powerful?
Because they're more peaceful and they're now starting to see that we're not playing any games. They're starting to understand that we do have the power. They're starting to understand that our voice is being heard and that we can vote them out. The most powerful thing anyone can do is vote.
I'm honestly trying to figure that answer out myself. I'm still in disbelief that so many people are showing up, and I'm very happy. I honestly don't know why it is this, why now. It could be that's because we've been at home and social distancing. We've seen it happen, and we can't just get away from that because we don't have distractions like work or going to a birthday party like we normally do.
I think there's been a tipping point or a critical mass that people were disgusted and upset then, but now with it continuing and nothing change, and what we saw on the past couple of weeks, and the people that we've been talking about and being shot for no reason and being killed for no reason, it's just become something that people can't ignore. And you're right, it's bigger than it's ever been, and I think people are just projecting the idea that it can't be changed.
People are scared and frustrated and unemployed. There are over 40 million people in this country that are now unemployed and have recently become unemployed. We have the time and we have the ability to protest now. The 40-hour work weeks keeps people from having the energy to spend on political protest. I don't think this could have happened at any other time in the past decade.
So that's a good question. I mean, you have a lot of economic disparity right now. Corporations got $500 million with no strings attached for no reason, and we got $1,200, some of us, not everyone. So there's a lot of other reasons to be angry right now, but this is the most important one currently, I think.
Well, because we're tired of this happening. I mean, like you said, it happened in 2014, right? It's still going on in 2020. So we're out here, we're tired. It's enough. I also feel like people are home during quarantine. Everything is shut off. There's no entertainment anymore, so they have no choice but to open their eyes to our cause, to Black Lives Matter, to us existing. We need to be able to like live and feel safe.
Black Lives Matter.
You know, so.
Like Will Smith said, it's not getting worse, it's just getting filmed, that there's more awareness of it now, maybe. Maybe it's just that video of George Floyd was so violent and so egregious that people are finally moved to do something. Or maybe it's something to do with the fact of the pandemic, and that people are already, seeing all of the problems in our society, that we have a healthcare system that is not equipped to take care of this, that we have leadership that has willfully ignored what's going on, and that this is another example of that. I don't really know. I think it's a convergence of factors, but I'm glad it's happening.
This got worse. It's going on for too long. Too many people are dying. You know what happened when you just came here? A lot of people wasn't pulling out their cell phones and recording stuff. Now everything is being recorded. Now they're getting exposed.
How you know about it.
That's the reason why. What happened when cell phone wasn't around? A lot of Black folks was dying and it wasn't recorded.
Good point.
It's been happening.
It's been happening. You just didn't know about it.
Exactly.
Now it's out. Now everybody's pissed off. And I'm happy that we have all race fighting with us. This is what we need.
This is why Black Lives Matter. Thank you so much for asking us these questions. I hope that the Russian community gets enlightened and they do their research. Have a great day.